Hi, everybody. Billy Aronson here. You're watching a podcast that's full of love and pride. Welcome to Nostalgia Pride Podcast. It's showtime.
Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia Pride Podcast. I'm your host, AlisonClarke, and as always, I'm excited to have you here with me today. Now, today's guest is a playwright and a writer who wrote lots, and I mean lots of big classic shows from the 2000s that mean so much to me. So everyone, please welcome Billy Aronson. Billy, how are you? Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Oh, please, Allison. I'm so thrilled to be here. What a pleasure.
Absolutely. So to kick this off, first of all, what was your childhood like, and where did you grow up?
Well, we moved around a bit. When I was 7, my parents split up, so we moved from Wisconsin to Philadelphia. And I guess I was very happy on my own. I had a few friends I liked a lot, but I remember mostly how much I enjoyed spending time by myself, like lying on the couch, watching the dust specks fly in the light, and trying to see if I could see my eyebrow, that sort of thing. I just really had a lot of stuff I did by myself, arranging rocks and pretending they were presidents of the United States. And then I sort of discovered music when I was in about maybe 3rd grade. I had this little toy organ that I played.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And I figured out chords and how to make up songs, and that was fun. I would say it was but that's when the writing started. It was around then. I just started writing out lyrics and poems and stuff like that.
And 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 so speaking of writing, you happen to have written. Yes, I know you wrote 2 episodes for one of my favorite shows, which I happen to have right here with me. My favorite show of all time, The Backyardigans.
Great show, great show. I'm honored to have been able to write for it a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, that show it really has been a huge part of my childhood since the age of 7. And that I actually had Corin Tuggles and Chris Grant Jr. on this show.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, both of them are really good friends of mine. I love them both.
Wow. So tell me about your relationship with the show. I'm curious, how did it grab you?
Oh, well, my love for that show started because because since that show is now vintage, it's now 20 years old.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so my love for the show started when I was only 7 years old, and so how I got interested in it was way back during season 1, because season 1 used to air on what used to be called Nick Jr. on CBS. And so season 1 aired on both Nick Jr. on CBS, but also on Noggin. But I didn't give, unfortunately, since I didn't have Noggin when the show started. I got it around like either 2007 or 2008. So it was either around the time of the 2nd or 3rd season. So yeah, I mean, I just fell in love with the show. I mean, so the show started when I was 7, and then in 2010 I was 13 when it ended. Yeah.
The Wonder Years.
That's right. Yeah, and because since that the Backyardigans community suffered a very tragic loss this year, the loss of the creator of the show, Janice Burgess. Yeah, because to lose her at only 72, just right after her birthday.
She was 72?
Yeah, she was 72. That's what it said. That's what it said in the headline.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and she died right after her birthday.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I knew she passed away. She was terrific. I remember when they invited me in to uh to write for a couple episodes. It always started with a meeting with her and
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Belt and his partner and Adam Peltzman, the head writer.
Yeah.
And she just was so childlike, like me. She was like a grown-up kid who just had a blast telling stories, and
Mm-hmm.
the show was really nuts in a wonderful way. It's like if the story was going to the center of the earth, the music might be country music. I mean, it just had nothing. It's like the way kids play. She really
Exactly.
understood the way kids make up games. And
Exactly.
it just all came together,
Mm-hmm.
and the characters were all different, but they all got along. And she was like that. She was just playful. I mean, she'll start somewhere and just you never know where it's going to go. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, I like order. I want to come into this meeting knowing what's going to happen, where it's going to go, why we're doing this. And she just defied that. It was just playful, and I enjoyed that, and I think it made for a much cooler show.
Yeah, yeah, because Chris Grant Jr. told me that because this is something that I actually asked him, like, what would you guys do whenever a certain character wasn't in every episode? And he told me that you and the other writers who are extremely talented, he told me that that the writers did such a good job of making the story very full and very rich, and not having certain characters featured in certain episodes allowed them to learn about pretty much the other characters. And yeah, because like with Tasha and Austin. Now, both Tasha and Austin, they weren't in every episode, but they were like perfect seasoning. They weren't in every episode, but when they were there, it was awesome.
Well, yeah, when kids get together in the backyard to play, some of them you can't always make it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And from a writing point of view, it was nice because was it 5 main characters, I think?
Yeah, only 5 characters.
So it's hard I guess the episodes were maybe 22 minutes or something like that. It's hard to get everybody focused, for everybody to have a story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was a good idea, I think, for how to write it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so how did you end up writing episodes for Codename Kids Next Door?
Well, that came, I think, like in the early 2000s when the stock market had gone down and all of my clients were bankrupt, and it was between plays, and I was knocking on doors looking for work for that one, and I heard somebody at Nickelodeon said they might be open, or there was a new show at least, or it was a second season. Maybe they're looking for writers.
Yeah.
And the famous picture book writer Mo Willems. He was the head writer. Somebody. What's the animal who cross? Anyway, he's done very well with picture books.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I can't think of the name of one of them now, but that's just how my mind works. And he was the head writer for the show at the time, and he liked my samples a lot. He'd written for Sesame Street, and I wrote a Sesame Street sketch that he liked. So he invited me to come over, and I hung out in his apartment, and we had a great time. He talked me through the structure of it. It was a very successful show, but I only got to write one episode for it, and then I got busy with other things, and they got busy hiring other people. So, but it was fun to write for. I like part of the joy of writing for children's television is every time you get a new show, it's a new world and new rules. They have completely different rules for what's funny, what kids like, and some shows you're going to do better, you're going to click better than others. But it was a blast learning to write for that, and all the different secret agents. Number one was really intense. They all had their own extreme qualities. It was very funny, and the whole conceit that they're on the one hand they're just normal middle schoolers with the big feet, the bodies they haven't grown into. On the other hand, they're top secret investigator, agents saving the world. It was a nice balance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So So back to your days on the Backyardigans, like, do, do you still keep in touch with any of the writers from the show?
Well, the only one I got to know besides Janice was Adam Peltzman. We were good. We had a nice collaboration. I'd written when I was head writer for the Wonder Pets. I he was a writer. He
Mm,
wrote some of our best sketches,
yeah.
our best episodes. Gesundheit, Gesundheit.
Oh, thank you.
So he wrote some of our best episodes. So then when he got to be head writer of the Backyardigans, I was honored that he invited me to over there to write for him. And also, it's a show. Backyardigans, as you know, has lyric writing. Gesundheit again. Do you
Yeah.
prefer God bless you or Gesundheit? Do you care?
Oh, either one.
I go back and forth myself.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a lot of lyric writing in Backyardigans.
Yeah.
And I like writing lyrics. I like writing. I don't write music, but I like writing songs, writing the words of songs, and that was part of the fun of it.
Yeah, and so what was your experience like writing for the Upside Down show?
Wow, perhaps the nuttiest Gesundheit of all the shows that I wrote for. It was those the Umbilical Brothers, this Australian comedy team, the wackiest stuff since Pee Wee Herman. They were constantly athletic, twisting and contorting, and they had this imaginary remote control. This was it. I mean, it wasn't a real remote. That it stop go. It could be anything, and the rules were just off the wall, wacko. That it ended up going anywhere, but it taught vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the show on Noggin.
Noggin, yeah. What happened to Noggin? It just stopped being.
Yeah, Noggin shut down.
Oh. It was it was like a collaboration between Nickelodeon and Sesame Workshop, I think.
Yeah.
So it was educational but wacky.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, that show only lasted for one season.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Classic episodes. But nowadays, anything that was ever made is out there somewhere.
Exactly.
So it's just like a show that's still on the air, in air. It's on air somewhere in space.
So how did you end up writing for both Johnny and the Sprites and then the Wonder Pets?
Johnny and the Sprites. I think Louise Gickow, the head writer of that one, knew me from Sesame. The thing about when you're a freelance writer, it's all the same people in different permutations all over town. And so everybody starts to know each other. And when somebody's looking for writers, they call the same people or they're some of the same people. So that was fun to write for. That was John Tartaglia.
Yeah.
It was the brilliant actor behind that. Very sweet guy and funny and creative. So it was all sort of about setting up him to see what he could do, see his personality and in that little magical world they had back there.
Yeah. I mean, he's incredible pretty much throughout everything that he's done.
He's so talented. I saw him in Broadway. I think it was Avenue Q. He made his mark.
Yeah.
Did you see Avenue Q?
Oh no, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was on. Broadway happens. It was big. I guess when you were too young to see Broadway, but it's a really wonderful show that he was in. And then, and also a nice guy. Pleasure to work for.
Yeah. So what was it like writing lots of episodes for the Wonder Pets?
Oh, the Wonder Pets.
Yes.
That was big. That was the first one where instead of going from show to show to show, I settled down. Josh Selig, the creator, along with Jennifer Oxley of that show, invited me to head write it in his first season, his baby. So it was a great honor. And we all worked in an office. Alison, I don't know about you. I've never had, but at that point, I'd never had a full-time job, certainly in the arts.
Oh, okay.
There was an office. We went in at 9:30 in the morning and stayed till 6, 5 days a week. And I
Ooh.
was not used to that. The whole writing with other people in the building and talking to people every now and then. I liked the people were lovely made the Wonder Pets. A lot of
Mhm.
great, still my best friends, still many of my best friends.
Oh, so speaking of the Wonder Pets, I don't know if you heard about this though, but there happens to be like a reboot coming.
I've heard my friend Jennifer Oxley,
Mm-hmm.
uh, who was the creator of that, one of the creators, an artist.
Yeah,
I knew she was working on a new show for the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, but she couldn't tell me what it was.
yeah.
And I recently found out, oh, now they can tell us that there's a new Wonder Pets. I don't know much about it,
Oh,
but I'm glad they're back. I
yeah,
hope maybe they're still doing teamwork. I don't know. There sure was a lot of teamwork.
yeah,
Every episode was about teamwork in the old days and,
yeah.
saving different animals all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but are are you by chance like involved with it or anything?
Not the new one. No, I'm not doing children's television right now. It was a busy
Oh,
period when I was. It sort of culminated for me in a show called Peg Plus Cat that I made with Jennifer. We actually made our own PBS math show for
mm-hmm.
the very young, and it ran for, well, it's still running somewhere, but we were hired to make new episodes of it for years in the 2010 teens, yes, the second decade of this millennium. And now that I'm done, I'm doing some grown up stuff
Oh,
and but I'm anxious to see the new Wonder Pets. Where can you find it? It's on Apple, maybe?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The new one is going to be on Apple TV, but unfortunately, I don't have it.
I don't have it. So what are we going to do? One of us should get it and come over to the other's house and watch it. We'll watch it together.
Oh, that's
Popcorn.
sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think that's the problem. I mean, I love writing for the stage, writing plays,
Mm-hmm.
because you're with the audience. And making TV is always with people. I've loved that. But that you watch it alone is just a shame. I guess, well, kids watch with a parent or a caregiver. Did you watch TV alone when you were a kid, or was someone there?
Oh well, sometimes I would watch it by myself, but sometimes I watch TV with my mom, my dad, my grandmother. Yeah, yeah, because since because I happen to be a daughter of divorced parents too. Yeah,
We can bond. We relate to each other.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, but unfortunately, since I lost my dad when I was only 24, it's going to be 3 years this month in just a few weeks.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, 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 since my dad fought throat cancer
Hmm.
pretty much with all his might.
Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 because I know you've been seeing a lot of my Facebook stories too.
A lot of your what?
Facebook stories.
Oh, right.
Yeah, sometimes you see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad died a few years ago too. We had a good relationship, but it took a while to get it right
Yeah.
because of the divorce and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
in the end, I think we had a pretty good relationship, and so I have happy thoughts about him, even though I
That's
miss him.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So what's next? I mean, what are you doing these days?
Well, two things, Allison. I'm making a new musical for the stage. I worked on the creation of Rent a long time ago.
I
That
know.
musical,
So I know
525, that
about
one.
600 minutes.
That's the one. Rent.
Yeah, Seasons of Love. I love that
So
song.
many seasons of love.
Yeah.
And then I'm making a new musical with a Korean jazz composer named Ji-Hae Lee, who lives in Brooklyn right near me.
Mm.
And it's about love and war for grown-ups, although I always hope teenagers will really enjoy it. My favorite audience is teenagers, because if they're so cool. If they get something, everybody wants to see it. But and it's with music and dancing, and also a book that I wrote mostly during COVID about a lot of the things we've talked about my journey as a writer, how I figured out how to express the stuff inside my head with words, with writing for TV and plays and books. A book about that called Out of My Head that'll be out in the spring. So I'm editing that right now.
Man, Billy, this was just so much fun having you on my show.
It's great to be here and
Yeah,
great to know you, Allison.
yeah, you too. Yeah, Because I know Janice Burgess will be very proud of the relationships that I formed with the cast members.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Janice?
No, I mean, you know that I came very close to meeting her, but but unfortunately, she was like taken way too soon. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
Well, I'm glad that we've met. You know, it's good. We have to be thankful for the meetings that we do have.
of course. Yeah, because I know that Janice is looking down on us, and, and you know she's smiling down on us. Yeah, man, Billy, I can't thank you enough for being on my show.
Thanks for having me, Allison.
Man, yeah, and of course, thank you guys so much for watching Nostalgia Pride Podcast. Remember,
Thanks for watching.
remember that memories of nostalgia will help you build your nostalgia pride. We'll see you real soon.